Dim sum, it's not really so much of it's not a structured debate. It's just to keep things in line.
Hello.
Hi, Spurs.
What's going on here then?
Did you
Sorry
catch what
about
I
that.
said when you first joined?
I was in and out, shaky all about hokey pokey and all that.
Okay, to reiterate.
Yeah, so we're just gonna have a general discussion. Yeah, I understand the format. We don't want things to get too hairy, Larry in here. So we'll just go over some points. The points why I don't believe we're on a ball. I don't believe we're spinning, and therefore the conclusion must be that it must be flat. Now we don't know the shape. We don't know if it's actually a flat Earth. It could be a square. We don't know that, but we draw that conclusion simply from water being level, is then always meeting eye level, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, we can address each point. You can try and explain why you think.
Which point do you want to do first? Which point do you want to do first? Just pick one at random. I really don't care which. Just pick one, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so the natural laws of physics of water is to find and maintain its level. Yeah. If Earth were a giant sphere, tilted, wobbling, hurtling through infinite space, then obviously we would have water level surfaces would not exist the way that we see now. But since Earth is in fact an extended flat plane, we see the fundamental properties of fluid, of water, finding its level.
Interesting.
Now, I've yet to see anybody show water that curves over a body or over an object. So that is a very strong point. That would be number one. So we can start there. Water.
Okay, let me start with definitions. Do you think level means flat?
Yes.
Okay, that's where you're wrong. Level does not mean flat.
You say that's where I'm wrong, but let's find out if I'm wrong. Let's look up the definitions, let's look at the wording, find out what level.
In order for me to answer the question, you have to actually let me finish.
Go ahead. I'm just clarifying. Yeah.
Well, you can clarify after I finish. Is that fair? Okay.
Absolutely.
Level does not mean flat. Level just mean you're 90 degrees to the pole of gravity. Now, if the pole of gravity curves with the Earth, then obviously water can curve with the Earth and yet still be level by definition. You see how that works there?
That's absolutely wrong. But go ahead, continue. But go ahead, yeah.
Okay. Again, don't interrupt me.
See, hold on, Red. The thing is, you see, I'm very, very skeptical. We don't believe in magic. We don't believe in, flying unicorns. We don't believe in curved water. We don't believe in spinning balls. Now, for you to say that these things are real, you would have to provide, exponential evidence, something concrete to show me an experiment. Say, look, of course it bends. Look at this. I can show you how water bends and curves. Don't be so silly. Don't be ridiculous. We see this every single day.
Spurs. Yeah? We were going to be discussing the definitions of level and flat, and you're going off.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it right now. Yeah, so go ahead.
So continue on.
Yeah. So basically, if the pole of gravity curves with the Earth, okay, if you travel 69.16 miles in any direction, the pole of gravity is actually going to shift by 1 full degree from where you started from to maintain a 90-degree angle with the ground that you happen to be on. So water, being that which would conform to any force that happens to be acting on it, gravity included, will naturally want to curve with the surface of the Earth because that's what water does. If we're talking about the physics of if we're talking about the physics of water, we know that water will follow the path of least resistance and will rest and conform itself to whatever force or whatever shape it's currently in, which is why water is going to conform to the shape of a water bottle, for example, because there's walls in there making it that shape. There is an actual physical barrier forcing it to that shape. Same thing with gravity. Gravity is a force that is forcing it to become level with the pole of gravity. And if the pole of gravity curves, so is the water, because the water doesn't give a shit what shape it's in, and therefore a curved shape is really just fine with water. The only reason that we're saying that water is flat is because water is flat in small areas. Sure, you're gonna have a really hard time finding any sort of curvature on a pond that you can quite easily skip a stone from one shoreline to the other. However, when we're talking about an ocean, we actually see evidence of water curving in that we can show, quite obviously ships disappearing over the horizon. We also see
don't go to ships over the horizon just yet, but let's stick to water and level. Why we know it's level, or why you think why you think level means curved slightly. Yeah.
Hang on. Level again simply means you're at 9 degrees to the pole of gravity.
You can't have it both ways. No, you can't have it both ways, because in my world, I deal with reality. If I think something is level, then it means it's flat. If you want to say that level, there is a curve in something that is level, again, you would have to demonstrate that and show us that something that is called level curves. And this is where you fail to provide this kind of evidence.
No. You're literally redefining the word level to also mean flat. Those two words are not synonymous with each other.
Yeah, they are, because it's a verb, and
they're not.
Give a flat, it gives an even surface. Yes, they are synonymous. Absolutely.
You do realize that water can be spread evenly over a curved surface?
Water cannot be described as curved. I know that.
No. Water can actually curve, as in it can take any shape it wants, because water doesn't have a physical shape unless the shit is frozen.
Not over an object. Yes, of course we have waterfalls, we have raindrops. We see water curving in that fashion. And we're not talking about in that fashion, in that sense. We're talking about in the sense that you're talking about over a large area. Water curves gradually over a certain distance, and we are yet to see this.
Yes, we actually do see evidence for it. And if you want, I can show you the same exact images that I've been showing every single flat earther, and every single flat earther has failed to be able to explain using any form of hocus pocus magic they wish to pull out of their ass.
This is the problem. You say, you make the claim, we test your claim. So we will we will check with rivers. Rivers run down to sea level, finding the easiest course, north to south, east, west, and all over intermediate directions, all over the earth at the same time. If the earth were truly a spinning ball, then many of these rivers would be impossible, would be impossibly flowing uphill.
Why?
For example, Mississippi is 3,000 miles. You would have to ascend 11 miles before reaching the Gulf of Mexico. These are just small things that, make people very skeptical about this spinning ball, because we can provide proof of no curvature, yet you are unable to provide any evidence of even the slightest curvature. And this is where the problem that you have.
Which is why I'm going to screenshot the said evidence that you say is impossible to get. And then I want you to answer just very simple questions, just a very simple questions about the images I'm about to show. Because if you're telling me that this evidence is so hard to come by, I want to ask you why I was able to come by it actually very easily.
Okay, let's have a look.
You think you can do that?
Well, of course, that's what we're here for, to find out, to learn, to teach. We want to grow, we want to get information. That's why we're here. So if you have anything that other people don't, and you can provide curvature, we really want to see it. We've been waiting for 4 years.
I want to make a small correction there. This evidence that I'm about to show you is not like, a needle in a haystack. I would also like, just for the record, to say that people like Daz the cameraman have evidence of this, and also Sean Hufford has been in a few hangouts demonstrating this as well. And so with that, let me go ahead and show you the first piece of evidence. Right here, I am showing you a picture I took over Tampa Bay. And this is taken from the beach. Now, this right here is the wheelhouse of a cargo ship. And this right here, this long mass right here, is blue in color, or at least it looks blue on the image. I honestly think it's just the atmosphere I'm looking through, but whatever. Anyway, so this is the hull right here. The question becomes, when looking at this hull, that if the Earth was flat, why can't I see the color red? Why is it that I only see the dark color part of the hull? Because if we travel across the absolutely gorgeous Sunshine Skyway Bridge, which is this bridge right here that I crossed over, and we go to the other side and look at that same boat, oh look, we see that the bottom of the ship is red in color. So for some reason, this part of the ship is blocked, and yet this part of the ship is in view, and yet there is no distortion to the image whatsoever, and I have enough angular resolution to see the ship in full. So you tell me, good sir, if the water is flat, and since my line of sight is just that, a line, and since parallel lines don't intersect by definition, please tell me how I'm not seeing the color red.
So put your pictures up back up. How can I talk if you remove the pictures?
I'm putting them back up. Be patient, bro.
Okay, let's go to the first one.
Okay, I believe that was this one. Yes, it was this one.
Okay, so you understand what atmosphere lensing is, yes, and distortion, yes?
I believe the term you're looking for is atmospheric refraction, and yes, I do.
Well, you understand that on any given day, at the horizon line will always appear distorted and foggy. Do you understand that principle?
So it will diffuse whatever image is behind it. Yes, I understand the principle.
So what's the problem?
Because it would still diffuse the color red. That's my problem.
Well, that's not a problem for flat earthers. That's something for scientists to wonder and marvel over and figure out. This doesn't change the shape of anything. This doesn't provide curvature. This is your problem. This is your problem.
No, the observation is
kind of red. There are a lot of questions about the flat earth that people are asking, myself and other flat earthers, how does this work? How does that work? This is an answer for honest scientists to go out in the field and actually find out.
So you don't actually have
we can do immediate science, where we test things, observe things like now what you see. So as long as we understand that at the horizon there, it's distorted.
This is all well and good. I want to know, how does a distortion event not diffuse a color that is objectively there?
I have no idea.
Okay, then you don't have a counter to this evidence.
It's distorted. I can't give you any counter to something that is distorted.
It may be distorted in some ways.
It's like showing me an object in the sky, like you were showing those rockets and asking to give a clear, description of what we're seeing. If something is distorted, how could I possibly give you an honest and correct answer?
If you have
I can tell you what we know. I can tell you what we know, Red.
Spur, if you have
hold on, let me finish here. I can tell you what we do know.
I don't care what we do know. I'm talking about this topic. And this particular picture right here, which you told me to bring up. If you have a piece of glass and I attack that glass with 600 grit sandpaper, I can make that glass opaque as fuck, to a point where if you hold that glass in front of your eye, everything behind it is going to be distorted from your visual viewpoint. However, if I hold that glass in front of my Five Guys Burgers and Fries cup, wow, free plug, I know that I'm going to see two things. I'm at least going to see the color of the Five Guys cup, and I'm going to see that it's white and red. In this image, we don't have that level of distortion. This isn't like I'm looking through muddy water here. I'm actually looking through.
It doesn't have to be muddy water.
Hang on. I'm actually looking through an atmosphere at the very worst with just a slight bit of haze because it was hot. It's Florida. That's Florida for you. But even though I'm looking through a slightly hazy environment, I should still be able to see the color red. And why am I not? Maybe because it's hiding behind the curvature of the earth over water, thus showing water actually curving.
Picture is completely flawed. You would need a complete wide angle. We need to see the complete structure of what's going on here.
Why does a wide angle shot have anything to do with this?
Because I would need to see more of the side to show you, the example of what we're talking about.
Why would you need to see more of the side?
One photograph and said, look, haha, bang. There's your curvature.
Why do we need to look at the side when we're trying to find out what's visually blocked by looking along the curvature itself?
Because when you have a wide shot, which we've had like with Anthony and others, Anthony Riley, as you know, we can see an object and we can see the clear sky or water, and then it'll give you a better understanding of what you were looking at. The reason why right now looking at this, you are going to be more confused than ever.
Actually, no, because we do have that wide shot. We actually do have that wide shot, and the reason why you don't go to a wide shot is because you will have a perpetual clusterfuck. Here is a wide shot. Here is a wide shot. Here is a wide shot from when I was there. Notice how
the object.
Exactly. That's why you don't do a wide shot. You need to actually zoom into the object to see
why did you choose to go that wide? Just be normal. Zoom in a bit more, and just show a bit of sky and show a bit of the object.
So basically,
the amount more skeptical about, because
the amount of wide shot that you want is completely subjective to you.
Wide angle, haha. There is no haha. if you were being honest, you would have just shown me a closer shot. And then
and this is a closer shot. This is a shot showing a ship. And not only is it a shot showing a ship, but it's one where we actually don't see the bottom of the ship. The only thing you care about when observing curvature is what is being blocked behind it. And if the object being blocked only can take up a select amount of resolution after being zoomed in all the way, then a wider shot would be irrelevant to demonstrating the point. You don't have a case to work on. In fact, what you're doing now is you're trying to backpedal your way out of this clear demonstrable evidence that anyone with a camera with a decent sized zoom can actually go out and get for themselves. But yet you're out there saying there's no evidence of water curving.
No, don't think that ever.
Actually, I am thinking that right now, and I think other people are thinking that too.
Well, don't get ahead of steam, Mr. Red.
Okay, fine. Then if we've reached an impasse on this point, what was the next thing you said? You said water flowing uphill because reasons?
No, hold on. Don't count your chickens just yet. Because the problem is with a lot of ball is understanding the whole horizon thing. This is where you fail every single time.
Then explain the horizon to me. Why does it even exist to begin with?
Don't try. Well, that's the thing, that the horizon doesn't exist. It's an apparent.
Are you fucking kidding me?
It's an apparent line that appears the sky meets the land, but it's only an appearance. Like I said, it's like an illusion, and this is where a lot of you ballers get lost in the whole idea of this whole horizon thing. You think it's a solid blue or whatever color line, and this is the problem you have. Okay, so you see my screen here. So many of us have seen this. This is scientifically proven that the horizon, same picture what you're looking at here, similar to what you were trying to show us there, and the horizon here is splitting. So you guys would say, well, something is obscuring something, but we know that nothing is being obscured. We know that it's just an illusion. This is what you're mistaking for obscurity, you see?
Not understanding what you're talking about.
Same thing that you showed. This horizon, well, what I'm trying to say is that you guys think this blue line is the hard horizon. This is not the horizon line. This appears to you. Hold on, let me finish.
Don't put words in my mouth, though. That's not what I said. That's not what I said, though. You're putting words in my mouth. Let's talk about what I actually said and not what other people said.
Where is the true horizon line in this picture?
Again, let me explain the situation, because shit isn't black and white.
Where is the horizon line? I want to know. All of us want to know. There
is two. There is two.
Oh, there's two horizon lines. I thought you were just saying there's one. You were just about to defend this horizon line.
If you want me to answer the question, then you need to shut up and let me answer it. Okay, otherwise, you're just going to continue to talk over me, and then you're just going to assume shit about my position.
Oh, I don't want to do that. So just explain.
You don't want to do that? If you don't want to do that, then shut up and let me answer. Okay, so first you have a hard horizon. Where the water is, that is actually the horizon. And if something goes past that point, they will start to disappear under the horizon. However, further ahead of that, behind the curve, you actually have more atmospheric distortion coming into a play. And so you'll actually have a distorting effect right there, which will get in the way of making some observation if this is only if you don't have something to superimpose on top of it.
Right. And so you just said, hold on.
I have not finished. I have not finished.
Yeah, but you just had to say one thing and go once. I'm going to forget my point.
I have not finished.
Let him finish.
Well, go on then. Go ahead.
Thank you. And so I would like to bring up a situation, and I can also bring up the video if you would like to see it, of I believe it was a Carnival cruise ship or some kind of cruise ship, from a video shot by Daz the cameraman, where the atmospheric distortion is present behind the hard horizon line. And so they know that the distorted portions will not give them an accurate representation on the position of the ship in relation to the hard horizon line. So what they do is that they superimpose that ship image on top of the video using the undistorted portions as a reference point. And we find that not only would the ship be underneath the hazy horizon line caused by atmospheric refraction, but it would be underneath the hard horizon line represented by the water. So even though you are showing this image image, it still does not help your case. All it shows is that atmospheric refraction can make determining the shape of the Earth a little bit more difficult, but only to fuckheads that don't understand how to superimpose things when doing visual analysis. Done.
Right. So you've just said behind the horizon line, things are being obscured. So how do you explain
Distorted.
how do you explain seeing beyond this curvature, uphill, and all the objects behind? If this is going down, how do you go down the curvature and then back up? Explain.
Because terrain
we must be missing
thing.
something here, guys. Because if the curvature goes down as they're claiming beyond this blue line,
Spurs, you asked him to explain.
No. I've got no help here, Sean. No, Sean. Sorry.
No, you asked him to explain, and then he immediately jumped over him.
No. You've got to let.
If you ask him a question, give him a chance to answer.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Right. So
fair enough. Really? Okay. So my turn again. That's because.
Well, what was my question?
For fuck's sake, dude.
What was the question?
Shut up. I will even repeat it to you if you would like me to. For fuck's sake, do you have the memory of a goldfish?
Yes.
Look.
Yes. Go ahead, because I'm very skeptical about your claims, Red. I'm very, very skeptical.
I am going to have to do this. Sorry, you were moderating, but I'll utilize it. So anyway, that's because the lake does not have the hill and terrain issues that land does. Land will deviate from sea level. Water won't. That's the reason why you see the land going back up, because there is a fucking mountain there. Okay, when you're looking at water isn't just going to stand straight up. It's not just going to stand up against the pull of gravity. Land, solid objects, a solid fucking object such as a mountain can do that and does. So if you have a mountain that's tall, you can go behind the curve of the water and then climb up the mountain on the other side, because it's a mountain that is above sea level, and look over the curve that you just went over. That's how. See how your question was answered if you just shut the fuck up for a second?
I don't appreciate being hidden, man.
I don't appreciate being talked over.
I was just about to go because, I'm presenting hardcore, solid evidence that beyond this horizon line, Earth does not go down as you claim, as you board Earthers claim, that ships go over the horizon. Thank goodness for this.
Sean, you're muted.
Spurs, I hid you from the broadcast. I was going to before because you asked him a question and then you immediately kept on interrupting. He answered your question. That's why he hid you, was because it gave him the chance to answer. So if you want to continue to keep jumping in, I will keep hiding you from the broadcast. Here you come back in.
Thank you. Okay, so the reason why I'm telling you this is because what you're showing an image of is the difference in elevation between sea level and the level of the hill or the mountain that the houses or farms are built upon. That's not evidence of anything solid. The only thing you're doing is shooting yourself in the foot, showing that this is really pathetic evidence if I've ever seen it. So I don't know what else to say at this point, other than you're showing evidence of elevation change, which we know happens on land all the time. I mean, just look at Hawaii, for fuck's sake. There's evidence of it if I've ever seen one.
Well, he left and rejoined to get away from the hiding from broadcast because he doesn't know how to not interrupt. If you want to continue to interrupt, I will continue to hide you from broadcast so people can actually have a chance to answer your questions.
All right, so let's go ahead and keep going. Spur, that was my reply. Now I will give you the floor.
Look, I've obviously, caused a problem here. This is going nowhere. I'm getting hidden, for no reason. Obviously I'm
interrupting.
It's not interrupting. We're having a discussion. It's not a debate, structured debate. You were going back and forth.
The Spurs, what is
I don't want to hear a long-winded lecture.
You asked him a question, he was trying to give you an answer, and you immediately interrupted him and continued to talk. That's why you were hidden. That's what my purpose of being here is for, is to keep you on topic and not interrupting anybody. That also goes for Red. If he starts jumping on you, I'll probably mute him too. But you asked him a question and you would not give him a chance to answer. So that's why you were hidden.
And also, Sean is not my friend. Sean will fucking throw me to lions. Let's not talk about the time he, we're not going to talk about that. So this is as fair as it get. I'm trying to answer your question, but if you immediately jump on me right after you're finished asking your question while I'm trying to answer it, we're not going to get anywhere. So if you ask a question, ask it, but then I'm doing this nicely. Please, for the love of fuck, shut up until I'm done giving my rebuttal or my answer. I think that's fair. I'm not going to interrupt you. Don't interrupt me. So we're talking about mountains and water and shit like that.
No,
so.
Well, again, I don't buy what you're saying because it's 6 kilometers across, right? So according to you, 6 kilometers across, there's supposed to be a drop from that 6 kilometers. We don't see that, right? So we don't buy what you're telling us. You're making people more skeptical because according to you, that horizon line, which is 4 kilometers away, you're supposed to see a drop. It's supposed to drop, not go back up. So you have a problem, and you can try to explain it, and that's fine. Explain away, So for me, that is enough evidence to prove that there is no curvature, or at least the curvature that you're claiming there is. Yes.
Okay.
And that's why you're hiding me, and that's why you're getting very aggressive because you're just rambling and not explaining how beyond 6 kilometers across, how you can't explain that. If this was in the ocean or at the beach, you would expect the ship to disappear from this point onwards and never to be seen again.
Are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, cool. Actually, I can explain it because you mentioned that the opposite end of the shoreline was about 6 kilometers away. Now, I'm not going to use 6 kilometers. I'm going to use a longer unit of measurement. I'm going to use miles to give you that much more of an advantage. So let's say instead of 6 kilometers, it was 6 miles away. So I'm going to give you even more distance to work with. If we had an observer on the shoreline that was 6 feet tall, that is from the point where the water is just starting to touch their feet on the shoreline to their eyes. So 6 feet tall right there. I'm 6'5", 6'6" roughly. So that would be right, in the ballpark. And if we're 6 miles away, the target hidden height would only be 6 feet. So that means that if the mountain rises up from sea level over 6 feet, then guess what? You're going to see it. And I guarantee you that you don't need a mountain for land to climb over 6 feet. I guarantee you, but it seems like the picture that you showed us was an actual fucking mountain, or the side of one at least. And I don't know of any mountain that is called a mountain that is less than 6 feet tall. I think we call that, a really, really awesome anthill, maybe. So so seeing land on the other side of the curvature is exactly what we would expect, given that we know that terrain is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's all good and well, but according to your calculations, if this was a boat that had gone beyond that horizon, which you keep on showing, you've just shown me a picture of a boat over the horizon. You can't have it both ways. Either they're going over the horizon or they're not. Which is it?
Or you can have half and half where it's starting to go over the horizon, but it's not completely blocked, like the ship I just showed. Could it be possible that in the 5 miles or 6 miles that we were looking, that only 6 feet of the boat can be blocked? It's almost like you're expecting there to be all or nothing. Like you're going to pass a point and then all of a sudden no more ship. That's not how it happens. The reason why we know that we're seeing a curve is because as you get further along the curve, further away from the observer, you will gradually see more and more of the ship disappear. Not only will you see it disappear, you'll see it disappear from bottom up.
Yeah, but that's great. That's good. That's wonderful. And that's another claim that you're making. We can test that claim.
We can.
To actually, we can actually test that, and we've tested that. And we've seen that it's not curvature that is causing this, what you call a disappearing from the bottom first. It's simply the atmosphere. We've tested. You haven't tested it.
Show me your test then.
Well, you can go online and find all kinds of tests like this.
No. It's not my responsibility to find your evidence for you. If you are going to make a claim, it's up to you to bring evidence to support your claim. So do you have anything to back up the assertion that you just made?
Yeah, absolutely. But it was going to take time. I have to search for it and whatnot. And
I'm just
highlighting the fact that
I'm actually willing to give you that time. I'm actually willing to give you that time.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do that. But like I say,
I will sing the Jeopardy theme while we wait. Do 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 do.
Yeah, you can just talk amongst. Sean, you can interject if you want. I mean,
I was on a roll there. In all fairness.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. I mean, if you didn't want to say anything, Sean, you probably didn't agree with what I've said, obviously. And
there's a lot of things I haven't agreed with you, and I've actually bit my tongue because I am not here to be a 2-on-1. It's not a 2-on-1, so I'm keeping it out of this as much as possible.
No. Sean, it was agreed. You don't get into this at all.
Right. So yeah. Sorry, Spurs, you're not going to get the thing that it was a 2-on-1.
The thing is, I won't be responding to what Sean said. If he has an opinion on what I've said, that's totally fine. If
No.
Back, then that's totally fine. But I'm saying the reason why biting his tongue. So I think it's only fair that he says, I'm giving the opportunity. It's granted.
Just look for your evidence. If I have anything to say, it will be after the official debate.
Yes. The reason why I told Sean not to get involved is because a lot of people have said we want a true one-on-one. We want a true one-on-one where no one else will ever get involved. Okay, fine, fair enough. I will give that to you. And then, afterwards, I don't want to hear complaining that I actually gave what was asked. So there you go. You got a true one-on-one where no one else is going to be involved. So please find the evidence to support your assertion that it's simply the atmosphere and nothing else. And then we'll continue on from there. I'm actually willing to give you the time to find the evidence that you need. But it's not up to me to find your evidence for you. I'm the one disagreeing with your claim because I already have my evidence to support my assertion.
Spurs, typing in chat is not looking for your evidence. I'm sorry.
If you're simply wasting time and talking in chat and not actually looking for your evidence, then I'm just going to assume that you no longer want to continue on this point, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Getting my evidence. Sean, why are you such a shit stirrer?
You're the one wasting time in the live chat.
I'm not wasting any time. I'm free. I'm free to do what I want. I can message and I can get the evidence. I told you to talk amongst yourself. If you're that bored, Sean, leave or discuss. I didn't know that there was someone in the live chat that had your evidence. Who is it? And then we'll bring them in for you. No, nobody? Didn't think so. You're wasting time in the live chat. Please find the evidence that I asked for. Said you were going to give me a moment. So give me a moment. Give me a moment.
I gave you a moment to actually look. So do what you got to do.
Let's just move on and I'll look for it, okay? So let's just move on.
That's the best thing I've heard all day. All right, let's move on. So I actually want to ask you a question about the flat earth, and it was something that you actually said that you would get back to me on. So if you remember correctly, I asked you a question before where you answered the question correctly. I'm going to give you credit. That if a car is driving away from you, that the car is going to appear smaller to you in your vision because it's getting further and further away from you. Eventually, it'll be so small that it's going to look like a toy car if you were to hold a toy car up to it. And so you said that. You still agree with that point, right? That as a car's driving away from you, it will get smaller?
Right.
All right, cool. So on a flat Earth, it has been said that the sun is only 3,000 miles up, 36 miles across, or something along those lines. Exact dimensions vary depending on which flat earther you actually talk to. But let's hypothetically say we're looking at the sun, or we're doing a sun observation at equinox. So right over the equator, all around the flat Earth. If you were standing on the equator on one side of the Earth and the sun was right overhead, it would be a certain distance from you, 3,000 miles according to flat earthers. However, if it's on the other side of the flat Earth, it would be a lot more than 3,000 miles. I think the distance would actually be 16,000 kilometers. And so with that being the case, if we're looking at a huge distance discrepancy, why doesn't the angular size of the sun change throughout the day? Given that I have actually gone outside, took pictures of the sun, one picture every 30 minutes from morning, noon, and sunset, compared the images and found no change in angular size. How does that work on a flat Earth?
Well, I'm stumped. It appears to be beyond the realms of man's understanding. Just to claim it because we're on a globe is not the answer, Red. So if you can't work that out, I can't work that out, and it seems like nobody can't work that out. Again, these kinds of questions that that you probe and ask, how does this, how does that? If you really want to know, you will investigate. You will understand that you're on a flat Earth, and you need to get down to business and start researching how does this work instead of asking the question. Do that kind of research. If that's a field you're really, really interested in, then you should look into that. I'm interested in curvature, spin. Is the Earth moving? I don't see those things. And
I don't care about what you're not seeing. I'm only caring caring about the answer to the question I just asked.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, you've
then
got
that's
me.
all you need to say. I don't need you to go on a diatribe about how you don't know X, Y, and Z, and how you're claiming I don't know X, Y, and Z. Because in my opinion, I actually have an explanation that perfectly explains why the sun does not change the angular size or does not change an angular size throughout the day. Just because you don't accept it doesn't really have any bearing on the question I just asked, and nor does my knowledge. Nor does my knowledge of how it works and how it works for my model with no problems whatsoever, with predictive capabilities, mind you, it does not influence your answer. If your answer is I don't know, that's all you need to say. We'll just stick to motherfucking magic for now until we're told otherwise.
Well, that's how it has to be, because flat earthers deal
magic.
with
That's how it has to be.
Well, again, flat earthers deal with 100% reality fact. We don't know.
You don't know, given that the flat earth is
red.
Look, there seems to be a new golden rule.
Hold on,
you have
Spurs.
to observe it, test it, and verify it, Red.
Hold on, Spurs.
Very, very important.
Just a second, Spurs. Red, you're interrupting him. Stop it.
Yes?
Sorry. Duly noted.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, but the thing is, I think people are slowly noticing, this whole idea of, it's almost being mocked. Flat earthers want to test it. They want to observe it. Ha, ha, ha. They want to repeat it. Ha, ha, ha. This seemed to be like a joke, but this is the reality. Unless we can test it, observe it, repeat it, and verify it, absolutely verify it. So if you're making a claim about curvature, we'd have to verify this on a huge scale, which, to this date, we haven't done. So things like, this sun and, others will have an idea. They'll give you an answer. You're about to discuss that with them. But as far as those things, you've got me. Yeah, I'm stumped because I haven't looked into that, one bit. But as far as, again, the horizon and whatnot, we can explain that. I'm going to show you my screen once again. You asked for the evidence. I need some time.
Well, hang on. That would be jumping back to the previous topic, and I'm not done with this one.
Well, okay. There's no point. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So to reply to that, your problem is that you're arguing from the position as if the Earth is flat for sure. And so you're trying to figure out how this would work on a flat Earth, but you're not letting the evidence determine, the shape of the Earth. You're not letting the evidence speak for itself. What you're doing is what is known as a top-down approach. Essentially, you've already made your conclusion that the Earth is flat, and you're trying to find things that support it. That is a completely ass-backwards way of trying to figure out reality. In reality, you start with what reality is telling you, and then you draw your conclusions from that evidence. I see the sun does not change in angular size throughout the day. I see ships disappearing over the horizon. And when I apply mathematics, when we use a ball Earth, when we're using a ball Earth as our starting point, then the mathematics actually work out perfectly. And not only does it, repeat itself perfectly, it's been doing that for the last 2,000 fucking years. And not only that, I can make predictions. Okay, if the Earth is round of this size, I should be able to see this. And guess what? When we do see this, all of a sudden that is confirming our hypothesis that maybe, just maybe, the Earth is a spheroid. But what does it debunk wholeheartedly? It debunks the notion that the Earth is flat, because we drive our conclusions from the evidence. You've already made your conclusion and you're trying to find evidence to support it. That is exactly why you don't have an answer for the angular size problem. And don't worry, you're not the only one. No flat earther to this day has an answer for that. Let me repeat that. No flat earther does. The reason, because it is impossible on a flat earth, because the actual law perspective is a mathematical equation with real world consequences. If you want to go back to the previous thing, that'd be my guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, I'm just showing you how we understand it. Obviously it's up for debate in your opinion, but for us, this is how we understand horizon. This is how we understand that you're making the mistake of thinking the horizon curves or there's some type of curvature, when actually we need to test your claim. So we do this by taking a flat surface like a warehouse or corridor or anywhere that we know is flat and level, and we take any object, be the box, it could be the building, paper, whatever you want to choose, and we do what we do when we look at an object from a distance. You can see that the atmosphere, even in this warehouse, is starting to get thicker, obscuring the bottom of the object and the appearance of curvature. Just the appearance, bear in mind, because we know that there is no curvature. So this is how we understand the horizon. you might ask, where is the true horizon? Some might say down here. Some might say in the middle. Some might say at the top. It's up for debate. But there is no debate because there is no true horizon line. We'd be here all day, like you were saying that I saw two. In the picture that I saw, some might say, well, that's not the horizon line. This is the horizon line. And again, you ball earthers would be debating all day where the true horizon line, instead of accepting that horizon line is atmosphere. Yeah, the further away, and any kind of day, if it's a sunny day, a clear day, a foggy day, at the horizon line is where the most distortion or fog, for our foreign listeners who don't understand distortion, fog or some kind of atmosphere, the lensing will cause bottom to disappear, giving the illusion, as I said previously, of curvature. Now, this is the thing. This is why we're very, very skeptical about the claims of the ball earth, because we actually do the tests. We listen. We don't ignore you. We're not ignorant. Say something and we just run off and say, oh, ha, 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 they said this. No, we test. We say they said this, so let's actually do the test. So we do this on numerous different ways. Yeah, it's just we repeat it. As we said, we don't just observe, we repeat. So we change the format with colors. You were talking about red and yellow or green and blue and all kinds of colors of the rainbow. So we even put those in for you just to show you that this effect happens in any condition. Okay, so the further away you go, you start to get the mirroring effect, okay, as we see in your video, and then we get distortion. We don't know what's happening. Okay, very, very simple, Red, if you took the time to test what you say instead of just showing us, images, disappearing and asking, how do we see various colors? So curvature has been tested. It hasn't been found. If you could find curvature, I could find curvature. It's not like it's not hidden. It's not a secret. Anybody could. If you could find, I could find. If I could, what I can do, you can do. You can do, I can do. You can do this experiment too, but you refuse to because you ignore flat Earth evidence or research or science. We could show children this. Look, children, this is what happened at the horizon. If we're being honest, okay. Instead of being told that things are going over the horizon, things start to merge at the horizon and they get
at this point, you're repeating yourself. Just get to the point, please.
Okay, so that's basically that's it. That's how we understand when you talk about Chicago skylines.
Then bring up Chicago.
Obscurity. Yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, then are you done?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're going to ramble on for hours, and I'm never going to get a chance to respond to the quite astonishing amount of bullshit that you just spewed. Okay, so first of all, when you have a solid object that is out of focus, closer into the camera, that doesn't count as the atmosphere. That counts as something being out of focus. So that's actually not a valid representation of the atmosphere. In order for you to actually test something, that doesn't mean printing out a picture and, Elmer's gluing it to a box. What you need to actually do is go out into the field like I do, because unlike you, we actually test for this because we know what counts as an actual test, actually going out into the field. But let's hypothetically say that you are right, and that it's a completely valid way of testing what we should expect to see by plastering a poorly drawn image on a box at the end of a very long hallway. Well, guess what, sir? I've done that too, and I have done it on a Nikon P900, and I've zoomed in. And even though I will admit there is some distortion going on, being that we're so close to the ground because of it was carpet first of all, and not all ground is level, I would say that I was still able to see the bottom of the image. What we saw in those photos was, one, no clear indication of how these photos were taken, at what level, at what height, or better yet, what zoom level for that matter. Focus would have been nice. And it would have been easier not to give us individual pictures, but actual video. And what I can do, Spur, is I can show you actual video. I can show you actual video of a boat disappearing over the horizon, yet staying roughly the same angular size as it was. So if you wish, I can show you that video. I don't have to show you anyone else's videos.
No, go for it. We want to see.
All right, cool. And because here's the thing, unlike you, we actually do observations. We don't Elmer's glue a poorly printed out image onto a cardboard box and call it a day and put a poorly...
Well, that was just for demonstration. That's for demonstration purposes.
And we don't put a solid object in front of the camera and purposely put it out of focus to try and make that mimic atmosphere. That's not how the atmosphere works. In the images that I have shown, when you actually go when you actually go out there, the horizon is in focus. Unless we're dealing with atmospheric refraction, it is a clear, sharp line, which in my video, it was. Allow me to demonstrate. So I'm going to share my screen now. Tell me if you can see it. Hang on 1 second. All right, I'm sharing my screen. Do you guys see it? Sean, pay attention, douchebag. Do you actually see my screen?
I do not.
You don't? Fuck. Okay.
Not even listening to you sharing.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Okay, let me try this. And I actually know how Google works.
Okay, you're up.
Is it screen sharing now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to present to everybody if that's okay. And I'm going to hide this shit. Okay, and I'm also going to turn the volume all the way down since volume is irrelevant. Okay, so what we saw in Spur's pictures was a solid object placed in front of the pictures on the cardboard box, and that object was out of focus. And so that would seem to me to want to indicate that the only way an object is going to get blocked is if something is in front of it. And so with this, let me show you this. Notice how we're not getting that type of haze with this line right here. I actually did cherry pick the day I took this video on. The reason why I cherry picked the day is because I wanted a day with the least amount of atmospheric distortion possible. And it is pixel per 4 pixel sharp right here, right where the sail meets the water. So what we would need from Spur in order for him to justify that this type of observation can be made on a flat Earth is we need the bottom half of the image to disappear with it being sharp, like we're seeing in this video. This video that I took myself because, to Spur says go out and actually do the test, do the observations. Well, guess what I did? And this is what I saw. I need you to show me evidence replicating this, not showing something outrageously out of focus, and then you might actually be able to make a case. But I'm going to keep saying that parallel lines don't intersect by definition. Therefore, our line of sight is not going to intersect with the ground. Therefore, the ground cannot be in the way of whatever is in front of it. So, Spur, I ask one more time, do you have any evidence that replicates perfectly what I'm showing here?
Play the video. That's a lot. Play the video.
Playing video. This might be coming through really shitty on Google. Playing video. Still playing video.
It is. It's coming in real shitty.
It's shitty.
Well, frame rate is.
The frame rate is shitty.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
well,
The pictures are still clear. It's just really shitty frame rate.
Well, all right. Well, Sean, how about this? Independent. Don't sway your opinion on this. Be fucking honest with me. Is this line between the sail and the water sharp?
Yes.
Thank you. That's my point. Your images show a blurry transition because there was an unfocused object in front of it. So,
and what I've been trying to show you, Red. Hold on. What I've been trying to show you.
Stop interrupting. Stop interrupting. What I need from you is a observation or an experiment that shows a sharp, clear, defined line blocking the bottom half of the image at a certain distance on a known flat surface. If you are unable, never happens.
That never happens. It never happens because what you're seeing now, again, you think that this hard blue line is the horizon. It's not. This is what I've been trying to show you.
Then if you're saying it never happens, then your evidence has helped you pretty much fuck all.
With that picture with the lake, that the true horizon, there is no true horizon.
I already responded to that.
What do you mean what you just responded to that? I've said to you that the horizon, there is no true horizon. Any horizon picture that you show me is not the true horizon. You need to get that, in your mind. I don't understand how that's difficult. I've just shown you've just said, look, there are two horizons. And I'm showing you that this happens every single time on every single picture, but some of them are more clear than others. So even on this boat, there is more than one horizon line. You just can't see it. Me and Pete Shea have shown this many, many times with many, many pictures where, for example, your boat, there's another boat that seems to be in the sky. How is that possible? Well, of course, it's in more water, of course.
My images do not show such a observation. I think you're referring to a different image that was not taken by me and evidence I did not show in this debate, so it's irrelevant to what I'm showing here.
The same thing happens every time, Red. The same thing every horizon.
If you want me,
you just won't accept.
No. Well, damn straight, I'm not going to accept this because your explanation is absolute bullshit, and I'm willing to explain that again. Bring up the image of your lake one more time, and I will explain it again.
All right, let's have a look.
Thank you, and tell me when you're screen sharing so I can validate it on my end.
Here we go. Here it is. Right. So, speak before you jump in. Right. Right.
I said I would explain it, but okay.
The same as your picture, this hard blue line, if this land wasn't behind this water, you'd be saying the same thing what you're showing me right now. This is why we have this picture, to debunk what you're showing us. That actually, when you're looking at this hard blue line, there is actually distortion going on, and there's another horizon, and there could be more land that you just can't see because in the water, the water, is very hazy. This is the whole point. And this is what this picture illustrates that. This is the whole purpose of this picture, okay? To show that what you ball earthers think is the true hard blue horizon, it goes on, and there is another horizon. So this must mean from this horizon to this horizon is all water. How much water? How much distant? We don't know. So it clearly sees the shoreline, okay? So all this mirroring that you're looking at is water. Because it's not blue, you don't account it for water. And you think, oh, well, that's a bit strange, and you can't explain it. So the same thing with your picture with the boat, if that is a mirroring of the boat being up here, and we're seeing the reflection of the boat. That's why you can't use such pictures. So this picture shuts down all your explanations about, Chicago skylines, your boat, everything.
Can I finally explain it now? So can you stop jumping down my throat, because I've already debunked pretty much everything you've said. Actually, no, scratch that. I definitely debunked everything you said, and I'm about to do it again. What I said the last time, and if you were actually listening, you would have figured this out by now, is that I said that there are two lines of note. There is the hard line, which is the water, and then there is the atmospheric refraction line, which we can clearly define because there is a doubling or a mirroring effect. All right. And the way we get around that is by superimposing an image shot from closer in to see exactly, if we were looking in clear as hell atmosphere, where these objects would be. And if they are still not only below the refractive line, but also underneath the hard line. So regardless which one you want to call the actual horizon, the fact it's under both pretty much shits to fuck your flat earth conspiracy nonsense. Not only that, but what I've said last time is that the reason why you can see the land behind the curve is because the land is rising upward, because once again, terrain is a thing. We have mountains, hills exist. This isn't some big conspiracy. Go to Appalachian and you can see this shit for yourself. Go to Hawaii and you can see this shit for yourself. Go to, in which case, go to the Rocky Mountains and you can see this shit yourself. Land will rise up, which means it can see over the curvature of the earth, because the rise of the land is more exponential than the curve of the earth. This is simple fucking geometry. Just because you don't understand it, that does not mean the earth is flat, and it does not mean that there's a conspiracy. What it means is that you need to get the shit out of your ears actually listening to what we're telling you, because we're explaining to you in no uncertain terms why things appear the way they do. Understand?
Well, this is the problem that you have, you see. I don't think you're actually in a position to explain these things. You've been trying for the longest time.
Educate me.
People haven't quite grasped this horizon malarkey, and then, people come along and explain to you that there is no true horizon line. You won't accept that. According to you, this is the true hard blue line. So the earth should be going down. From this point onwards, nothing should be rising.
There's a request from
explain to me on your picture, your boat picture, from the horizon line, how it goes up.
My picture was taken in Florida. We don't have mountains. So how the fuck am I supposed to...
No. I'm asking you, from the blue line in your picture, show me how land beyond this horizon line rises up.
Because terrain is a thing. Mountains, dude. Mountains.
No. I'm asking you about your picture. This is water.
My picture doesn't have any mountains in it, and this isn't my picture. My picture was taken in Florida. We don't have mountains. Our highest point is an overpass.
We're talking about don't confuse things. We're talking about the horizon line. Don't focus about this. We're talking about the horizon line is 6 kilometers away. So from this point onwards, the ship is going down. So if a ship was going forward, over the horizon, tell me how it goes down this curvature and then back up this hill.
The ship isn't as big as a fucking mountain, nor is it going to crawl up a mountain. There is no mountain for it to crawl up, first of all, and ships don't go on land. How is this so fucking hard to understand?
Hold on. There's a request from chat. It's been asked many, many times. Okay. They want Spurs to actually read the notations there on the photograph that he's showing.
Okay, fair.
Okay. Zoom it in.
No, from the top, just go ahead and start reading it down. That's what they want to see.
Yeah, I'm going to try to zoom it in. Jeez. Right. So let's look at the main point. 6 kilometers across, right? We see a mirage opposite the shore. Okay. The guy said we had rather cold weather, very close to freezing and a breeze. Blah, 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 blah.
Can you actually read it?
Freeze. Right, so it's just talking about his detail. You want to know about his trip? Read it yourself. We want the details. 4 meters above sea level.
People are requesting that you actually read it from start to finish.
You read it.
Why do I have to do your work?
Well, then they can read it in the chat. Everybody can see on screen.
Okay, so just so that we can have this note, Spur is refusing to read what's right in front of him.
Oh my God. All right, let's go. So this is Norwegian, Fjord Mirage by Lars. We're back looking across 6 kilometers across Sundal Forge near Kristiansund, something, Norwegian name. The mirage opposite shore is that of the island of Berngzoi. We had rather cold weather, very close to freezing and a breeze. Driving home from work, CA, wherever that is in Norway, at 1:30, I noticed pronounced inferior miraging of the shore, details along the opposite coastline. Okay, as my route, in America, route, but we say route, as my route dipped and rose along the fjord, the phenomenon was visible only when I was low above the water. The fjord has, to my knowledge, never been known to freeze, and there has been reports that recent sea temperatures are warmer than before. I therefore assume that the sea surface was considerably warmer than the air temperature. Well, and he only assumes, by the way, people. So anyway, we assume, that the sea surface was considerably warmer than the air temperature, and that a somewhat steeper temperature gradient existed close to the water surface than higher up. Picture taken with a 300mm lens on a DX format sensor from CA, 4 meters above sea level across 6 kilometers of sea. I'm not really going to read this all. Come on.
House and shore features close to the water are... Stop moving the picture, dude. House and shore features close to the water are mirrored upside down. The mirroring occurs not at the water level, but higher up at what is named the vanishing line. The distant shoreline below the vanishing line is not visible. The uneven upper edge of the fjord, whatever the word is, water is not real. It is the lower edge of the mirage. The mirage is an inferior mirage because the image is below the real object. Light passing at a low angle across different temperature air layers is refracted so that rays coming from the opposite shore appear to be coming upwards. The ray diagram attempts to show what is happening, but like all mirage ray diagrams, the vertical scale has to be grossly exaggerated. All possible rays between the eye and the distant shore are shown. 2 rays from A reach the eye. The upper one is slightly curved downward towards the warmer air. The lower ray from A is sharply curved and appears to the eye to come from the shore, details refracted by a mirror. Rays from this point B lower down do the same. Position C is different. Only one way reaches the eye's rays from the lower down. The shore cannot reach the eye at all, and so it is invisible. The level C is the level of the mirror vanishing line. The real view and inverted image view join at the vanishing line, and the eye can see no detail of the scene that are below it. More mirages, blah, blah, blah. And so
can we go to the diagram now showing the mirage effect?
Yep. No, go to the diagram.
Right there.
Okay, so we have the diagram right there, and there's the vanishing line B, so you see the dotted lines right there, dot, there. Has that satisfied everyone in the chat?
I think so. So... the purpose of this, photograph is only to illustrate the fact that what you call, and again, this happens in anywhere, as far as you're concerned, or as far as you tell us, beyond this horizon line, the ship is now starting to go down, and you wouldn't see this in an ocean or over the sea. But as I said, because of this picture, we can establish that the Earth is not going down. At these distances.
What is your actual claim here?
that beyond the horizon line here,
we should see no land.
no, that beyond the horizon line here, that you guys think that this is the true horizon line and that things are disappearing over this line. This is what you guys think. This is why we're trying to correct you. Nothing is disappearing anywhere. It's just the only thing that's disappearing is this is what's happening. This mirage, when you say it's disappearing bottom first, this is what you're seeing.
I don't know what you're trying to correct me, because the only thing
every time you claim the ship disappears bottom first, this is what you see.
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't see my screen?
No, that's not
yes,
what
this is exactly what you see.
No, that's not what I'm seeing. The reason why I can demonstrate why that's not what I'm seeing is because I can show you a picture of what I actually saw and how the two are completely different.
Well, how can you differentiate between this horizon line and this horizon line? What is the distance? You don't know that.
You don't need to know the distance. And I said that at the very beginning.
Well, how much water is that from that line, from that horizon line?
It's irrelevant, because if you superimpose a solid image on top of it so that you have the image in full, as if you were looking at it through clear atmosphere, you would be able to not only see it go through that line, but the bottom line as well. So regardless which one you want to claim is the real horizon line, the fact it's under both of them fucks up the ass sideways this notion that the Earth is flat. And no, my picture does not represent. Hang on, not done yet. My picture is not represented accurately by the picture that you're showing. One, it's not in Florida. Two, it was very cold. Mine was very hot. Three, there's refraction going on there. There's almost no refraction going on in my image. So you can't really compare the two. So for you to try and get me to prove something using my images, using these images, is really counterproductive. You're really not doing yourself any favors, because hang on, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. This is what we are trying to correct you. It's not you correcting me. You're more than happy to live in that fantasy land on your own time. What I'm trying to correct you when showing this is that not everything is a cookie cutter piece that fits with everything else. If you go out and do an observation on one day, your conditions may be different than the next day, and so on and so forth. So for you to try and get me to show you the ship again, where it's not going to crawl up a fucking mountain, is really funny and showing everyone that you have done zero research or understand what the hell you're talking about. You don't understand what you're talking about.
Well, again, that's the problem where you fail again, because according to your calculations, these distances that we've shown you in this picture, the ship is supposed to disappear. You would be screaming blue murder, it's disappearing, and we would say no, it's going away.
Where's the ship in that image? Where is the ship in that image?
It doesn't need a ship.
Actually, it does. If you're saying the ship is going to disappear, then you need to show me an actual ship disappearing. But if you're not going to show me that, then your picture is irrelevant to a ship.
It doesn't need to be a ship. It could be any object.
Yeah,
the principle is the same.
And the only object you were able to point to was a fucking mountain. A mountain is a lot bigger than a ship, and a mountain. Terrain issues. We have all said. I will give you money if you can show me one ball earther, as you call them, that a mountain is for 100% of the time going to disappear in totality behind a curve at a short distance, such as 6 kilometers. Give me a fucking break.
We're talking about the shoreline here. The houses are on the shoreline. Yes,
those houses are.
We're looking at the shoreline. It sees where the second mirage is the shoreline. It's shoreline to shoreline.
Okay, so you're saying you're saying that where the refractive line is, you're saying that is actually water, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Between the what you said was the second mirage and what we think or what we say is the hard blue line. Yes.
All right, cool. That means that we can actually test to see if this is actually the case with my images. Can you please show that picture of yours one more time? Please screen share it and let me make a point here. All right, Sean, can you present him to everybody? Okay, so according to Spur, we are to Spur, do me a favor, put your cursor on that brown shed looking thing. No, a little bit over. No. It would be the brown shed looking thing, not in the center of the image, but just to the right of it. Yep, right there, yes. Right there. That shed right there, exactly right there. Okay, so that means if what Spur is saying is true, that means that shed or whatever the fuck it is going to be right on on the water line, which means that what we're seeing is a perfect reflection of the object in full, because according to Spur, that is actually the water. Okay, fair enough. That means we should be seeing this, and I'm going to illustrate now. Sean, you can stop screen sharing and present.
Yes, very quickly start screen sharing.
Hang on. I'm not done. My turn. Screen share me. Okay, so that means drawn pretty poorly here in MS Paint. That means this, that if we have a house, I know a very poorly drawn house, it's actually an arrow, but fucking sue me. That means that if we see a miraging effect, that means that we should be seeing the house in full like this, with the layer in between them being the refractive line. So that means we would be seeing both the bottom parts of the house, and we would be seeing a pretty much perfect mirroring effect of the house in full, if that was actually the case, if the house was right at the shoreline indicated by the refractive line. Now, do we see a perfect mirroring with the images that I have shown? Shit! I'm not seeing a second wheelhouse. I'm not seeing a second red portion of the hull like we were shown here. Oh fuck. Damn it. Okay, hang on. Let me try this again. So Spur, show that image one more time. Share it, please. Share it. Please show that image one more time. Spur, if you can show that image one more time, please.
Me again, yeah? You want to show my image, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. Show the picture that you were showing previously. Okay, so that house, if that house is right on the shoreline, then that means we're seeing a perfect copy mirrored from top to bottom. So we're seeing a perfect reflection of the house in full, if that house is right on the shoreline. Okay, so now I'm going to switch it to myself here. So that means that illustrated in MS Paint, we should be seeing the house in full reflected top and bottom. So that means that if I see something that's different from that, then that is a bullshit explanation. Shit! Looks like we don't have that reflecting going on here. And if it was a perfect reflection, if it was reflecting the house in full, why isn't it reflecting the ship in full? And why is it not reflecting the red part of
this is a poor example, Red. Seriously. You have to come with quality and everybody can observe on both sides. I've given you a clear image of what you are not understanding. This is why, you're pulling out these pictures and everybody can't discern them. This is the problem you're having.
I would like for you to explain how you're thinking that my images don't completely debunk what you have been trying to illustrate this entire time.
Because we don't. On my photograph here, we have details. We have people telling us where they were, what was happening. We don't know what is happening in your picture.
Actually, we know exactly what's happening in my picture, and I'll explain to you again. What's happening in my picture is that I took an image of a cargo ship from across a large body of water, and there were at first I thought I was seeing the ship in full. Wow, evidence of a flat Earth, I guess, because again, parallel lines don't intersect by definition. But then I went to the other side of the bay after I crossed the Skyway Bridge, and I see that I actually wasn't seeing the entire ship in full, because this is the ship in full because I went to the other side of the bay, and this is the ship from the point I started from. And as you can see, it's not distorting, refracting, or copying, whatever word you want to use to describe it, the color red. The color red is completely missing from the original image. So we have to ask ourselves, if there is no atmospheric refraction blocking the ship as a whole, because again, parallel lines don't intersect by definition, then why in the living fuck is there no, red? And we have to ask ourselves this question. And being that this line is hard and clearly defined, I would argue, and being that the color red is objectively there, maybe the answer is not something to do with the atmosphere. Maybe the answer has something to do with geometry, which is only backed up by the fact that if I were to increase my elevation and just my elevation, I would actually start to see the color red. So it seems like geometry is the actual culprit here, not any hocus pocus magical bullshit with our atmosphere.
I mean, that's your claim. That's what you claim. But we've shown you many times.
No, that's not just a claim. That's been demonstrated, and I can demonstrate this over and over and over again. All I have to do is go to the exact same spot that I went to, and I can go ahead and do this again. I mean, I could do this from the top of the Skyway fucking bridge. It'd be dangerous, but I could actually do it. It's not that difficult. And if you were to do this yourself, you would find the same exact conclusion. So Spur, I challenge you, go out to a large body of water, and I don't want you to increase your distance from the object that are behind the horizon. I just want you to increase your elevation. In fact, if you have to move further away from the object, do that, because that's only going to help your case. But just increase your elevation, and you're going to make the exact same observation that I did. Now, I'm going to assert, and I do base this on absolutely nothing, that you won't show us those pictures because, flat earth seems to be your thing, but I will bet my left nut that you will see the exact same observation that I will see. You will make the exact same observation that I will, and that when you increase your elevation, you will see the object in full, thus indicating that the issue is geometry of the planet you're on, not the atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely, the atmosphere. As you go higher, the atmosphere is a lot thinner. Therefore, you can see further. That's normal. That's common sense. Everybody knows this.
Do you really think it gets so thin to the extent that it's going to create that much of a difference from, let's say, 50 to 100 feet?
Well, it depends what extent. It depends on what extent you're talking about. If you go very high, yes, so you're going to see a lot further. If you're talking a little bit high,
my apologies then. My apologies then. I should have been more clear. I'm talking about only like 50 to 100 feet.
Well, depending on the condition, that could be a considerable difference. Yeah, absolutely.
How much of a difference?
Depending on the condition, not a weatherman.
I'm talking about at sea level. Let's say a nice, clear, sunny day in Florida. What's the difference in atmospheric density between?
Now, I think because I don't. Well, I'm not going to look. It looks like now it's turning into something of a wit. A battle. What about this? What about that? The fact is,
no, I'm asking you to justify your claim.
Yeah, the fact is curvature. I've shown you that.
The fact is curvature. I agree with you there, but I'm trying to get an answer to this question though, and I would ask Sean to kind of hold your feet to the fire on this one. You said that the atmosphere gets thinner the higher up you go, and I'm going to make the claim that if it does get thinner, it's at a level so minute it's virtually the same. So I'm going to ask you for evidence to show that if you were to go up 50 to 100 feet, that the atmospheric conditions are so monumentally different that's actually going to change our observation substantially.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, good. I would say it changes by a foot. Actually, that's how much it changes, by 1 foot. I would say that a 6-foot man who sees the horizon, when he looks at the horizon, he sees the horizon that's so far. The 10-foot man or the 7-foot man will see a different horizon. Thus, he will see further. Therefore, the atmosphere that the two are seeing has changed. 1 foot, 2 foot, even half a foot. It depends on the observer. That's how much it changes. So obviously, the higher you go, the further you see.
I'm talking about atmospheric pressure.
The 6-foot man cannot see what the 7-foot man or the 8-foot man can see. We all know that. And so as you go higher, you ask me how high difference. I'm saying, well, I can boil it down to that much.
No, I was not talking about. We all know that we're going to see a difference when we're looking at the object. I'm asking about how much thinner is the air if you were to go up only like 50 to 100 feet.
Oh wow! Now that's a different question. You'd have to go and ask the scientists.
Actually, I don't, because we have this wonderful tool on the internet known as Google, and I've done the research for you. At 0 feet, we're looking at 14.696 psi of atmospheric pressure. At 100 feet, we're looking at 14.643 psi of atmospheric pressure, which means, good sir, our difference is fuck all. So please tell me how the atmospheric pressure, given that, if you were to go up 100 feet, you do see an astronomical. Hang on. No, hold on. You're asking me questions that only the creator. Hang on. You're not going to interrupt me on this one. I'm not going to get interrupted on this one. I'm going to finish my point. So, given that your claim was that the higher up you go, you see a monumental difference because of the changes in atmospheric pressure. So,
absolutely.
Okay, so given you say that, how can a fuck all difference in atmospheric pressure between 0 and 100 feet equal such a vast change in terms of what we can actually see with the naked naked eye or even a camera. They're virtually identical atmospheric pressures. Identical, as in only the most sensitive instruments would be able to tell the difference.
What is the point to that question, though? What is the point? I mean, you're saying, okay, so
to show that your assertion is bullshit.
Let's assume that you're right. Let's assume you're right. What are you showing here?
What I'm showing here is that your assertion that the altitude, the reason altitude matters is because of atmospheric pressure is complete bullshit. That's what I'm showing.
No, I don't say any of that. I'm saying that the higher you go, you can see further.
Correct. And your reasoning for why we could see further was because of atmospheric pressure. Since that is clearly demonstrably bullshit, that means that geometry is the only thing that fits the bill.
Well, no, it's a number of reasons, isn't it?
Okay, then name one that isn't complete bullshit. That's what I'm asking for. Name one that isn't complete bullshit.
I mean, I can't see what you're really getting at. Ships don't go over the horizon. You have to prove that. This is the main thing. Curvature. This is the number one thing that you guys.
That's a change of topic, Spurs.
Yes.
Okay. What? Because I don't see the point. I don't see where the direction, or what are you trying to get? If I don't know the answer, I know the answer. You're gonna keep asking me questions to say what you don't know the answer. What is the point of that? Is that going to show curvature? No, it's not.
Well, you made an assertion. You made an assertion. Reds countered it, and you have nothing to go on. That's why you're not changing the topic.
Because I don't understand the reply. The higher you go, the further you see.
If you don't understand,
unless you say no, you don't. Then what more is there to say?
Hang on. If you don't understand my reply, then the correct response is I don't understand your reply, and I'll try to explain it.
I don't understand this reply. I don't understand. Unless you say no, you don't.
If you don't understand, then shut up and let me explain. I like that idea. So let's go ahead and give it one more shot. Your assertion was that, or let's first start off with the observation. The observation is that for an object that is over the horizon, being blocked by the horizon at sea level, you will be able to see that object again if you go higher up, thus indicating that geometry is the reasoning for this. Your counter to that was it could actually be the change in atmospheric pressure as you get up, since it's the atmosphere that might be causing this illusion, if we can call it that. So I counter with this. Okay, if your assertion is that atmospheric pressure causes us to therefore see the object, how is that the case when the atmospheric difference between sea level and 100 feet is fuck all? As in order for you to tell there is a difference in atmospheric pressure, you would need sensitive as fuck equipment. Do you understand me so far?
Okay, right.
So being that there is no change to the atmospheric pressure, how is there a change to the observation of the object that we're seeing? Why is it then visible if we simply increase our altitude by 100 feet? Let me ask the question again, but even more simply. Given that the atmospheric pressure is pretty much exactly the same between 0 and 100 feet, doesn't that eliminate the atmosphere or atmospheric pressure as a factor?
For me, no. It always comes into play. Atmosphere plays a huge part in it all the time.
And if it's not atmospheric pressure, my follow-up question.
I said it plays a part. It plays a part.
Okay, it plays a part. Then how much of a part, and what evidence do you have to show for this?
Well, we've just shown me your video, and I've shown you mine, and we've seen two different, conditions.
You're changing the topic. You're changing the topic.
You've asked me how do I know?
No, I didn't ask you how do you know. I asked what I actually asked for was for you to back up your assertion. You made the assertion that the atmosphere is coming into play, and I'm asking you to.
Yeah, because we have different types of mirages. Do we have different types of mirages?
Do not interrupt. You said the atmosphere comes into play. I asked you to what extent and what evidence do you have to back that up? Now you may reply.
Well, of course, as you know, I'm not a scientist, so it's just an assertion. Obviously. One would assume that at the horizon we have different horizons. They give them various different names and such like. And
you're not.
I don't understand. I don't understand how you don't understand that. At the horizon.
Sean, some moderation, please. Is he actually answering the question?
No,
or is he rambling?
He's dodging like usual. Spurs, you were asked a question about.
How am I supposed to answer this question? What I really cannot.
Here's the thing, Spurs. You're making assertions.
where you're trying to get me. I don't understand.
You're making assertions, and you have absolutely zero evidence for those assertions to be factual. That's what we're getting at.
I'm trying to say that in order for you to make an assertion, you must have something to back it up. Otherwise, you wouldn't have made the assertion in the first place. I mean, I'm not going to assume that you're just pulling this shit out of your ass.
I'm assuming.
There's no way. There's no way I would assume that.
I'm assuming the atmosphere must affect when we're looking at a distance, whether it's clear or not clear, such so on. So this would be common sense. I'm using my common sense here.
All right, you're using your common sense. So common sense tells you that if you don't have evidence to support an assertion, should you make the assertion anyway?
Well, like I said, this is a discussion here. I didn't realize
it's a discussion where you were making a shitload of assertion, and I'm just trying to get you to back up one of them. And so I'm stuck on this one. If you have absolutely nothing to back this up, then the correct answer to give at that point is, Red, I'll be fucking honest with you. I do not have anything to back this up. I am simply pulling this out of my ass.
If you were listening to me, I did say I am assuming. I'm using common sense. Yes?
Okay, so your common sense tells you to make assertions that you have no evidence for.
In the light of the moment here, you're looking for an answer. And
in the light of the moment, I would never make an assertion that I did not have evidence to back it up. If I make the assertion that the angular size of the sun does not change throughout the day, I need to show evidence of that. If I say ships disappear over the horizon, I need to show evidence of that.
You assume that the Earth is curved. You assume that the Earth is spinning. You make all kinds of assumptions without any evidence.
No. Here's the thing. I don't assume the shape of the Earth. I know the shape of the Earth based on clear, demonstrable evidence.
Well, that's why we're here, Red. You're here because you think. Hold on. We're here because you think.
Dude, don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me. It was my turn to speak. Shut up. Okay. I do not assume that the shape of the Earth is round. I actually know the shape of the Earth is round, and the reason being is because I have done what you fuckheads have been telling me to do this entire time. Actually go out, do the research, and do the hard mathematics that apparently no one else wants to do. Go out, get proper equipment. Don't just stick with iPhones, and see if the flat Earth holds up to scrutiny. And when you put the flat Earth underneath a magnifying glass, you see it has a lot of cracks. It does not comport with reality. Compare that to the round Earth, where it not only has predictive capabilities, but it's geometrically sound with the observations that I have made myself, as well as Sean, as well as Daz the cameraman, as well as Astronomy Live, as well as a fuck ton of other people that have actually gone out and done this shit. So keep in mind that when I'm asking you to justify this, I'm asking you to justify it in the same way that I have justified myself. So if I ask you to back up an assertion, don't give me a sob story about how you don't know and you're being picked on. Give me actually.
Absolutely not. I'm saying this is a discussion. And listen, I need 5 minutes to make a cup of tea and whatnot, but this is the discussion.
Great.
And, I'm here on the assumption that you think the Earth is round.
No,
that's why I'm here. Because I heard that you think we're on a ball. That's why I'm here. That's the whole point. If you knew it was a ball and you had evidence and proof of a ball, you would show me, I would show the flat Earth community, and this would be over. This is why that you and Sean are assuming that we are spinning, rotating, moving around the sun and all this blah, blah, blah. It's all blah, 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 because the claims have not been verified. This is why you are here. This is why I'm here. This is the point. So don't tell me you know, because if you did know, you would show. You haven't shown. Therefore, we are here to decide who is right and who is wrong. And the people would decide, because it's simply up for opinion. And
it's not up.
Why we're here.
It's not up for opinion. And the fact is that I have shown. Your inability to understand what I have shown you does not count as me not showing it in the first place. That is a clusterfuck of a thought process if I have ever seen one. I don't understand how you were able to make that work in your head.
You're dealing with people who understand the word very well.
Let me finish. When I show you this evidence, you try to come back with a counter, and I asked you to verify your counter. For example, one of your counters was atmospheric pressure, and I asked you to verify that, and you were unable to verify it. What conclusion do you think the people watching the live feed are going to come to when you say shit like that, when you make an assertion and are completely unable to justify it?
They will understand that I'm an honest individual who, knows its limits. I'm not going to talk about things that I don't know. I don't understand. I understand horizon. I understand curvature. I understand that we're not spinning. You're trying to take me down a path of things where, trying to corner me. That's what the audience will see. That's what they will observe. And once they replay, they'll be able to repeat it, and it will be verified. That is what's happening.
They will replay it, which is true, and I'm going to advise them to do it over and over again so they can have a repeat belly laugh. But the thing is that an honest individual would not go on a fucking diatribe about how I'm not doing research when I ask you a direct question, asking you to back up your assertion. An honest individual would have just came right out and said, you know what? I actually don't know. I actually have no fucking clue how this works. And another thing is, when I ask you to back it up, you should have never have made the assumption to begin with. I'm not going to give you assumptions. I'm going to give you answers that are actually correct, or I have good faith are correct. So for you to say atmospheric pressure, what you should have said at that particular moment when I asked you, how does altitude, affect your visual connection with that object? You should have said,
I don't think I said atmospheric pressure. I didn't say pressure there.
All right, what did you say? You said the density of the air, right?
I just referred to the atmosphere in general. Yes, I didn't say the force, the direction. I'm just saying what my meaning is basically at the horizon line.
If I can correct you, Spurs, you did say that the atmosphere gets thinner so you can see farther.
Thank you. So
right, yeah. So I'm saying, that's right. So as you get higher,
that is directly connected to atmospheric pressure. The reason why the air would get thinner is because atmospheric pressure drops. So therefore, thinness,
if you want to word it that way, let's word it how I worded it.
That's not me playing word salad games. No.
Let's word it how I definition. Let's word it how I worded it. Just to be clear, I didn't talk about any kind of pressure. I'm simply saying so people understand that as you go higher, you see further. Now, again, if you want to word that in a particular way, that is down. That's entirely up to you. But I'm simply stating. I don't know the ins and outs of all that, but I'm simply stating that as you go higher, you see a lot further.
Okay, all right. Let me ask you this. This is a very simple question, and as a word of warning, if you genuinely do not know, I suggest you start off with I don't know. Do you think that the thinness or thickness of the air around you has anything to do with atmospheric pressure?
I don't know, but I don't know. Yes.
And don't you see why having this conversation is a clusterfuck? Because you don't seem to know what the words mean, the words that you're actually using. So
I
understand
what you mean. There's a pressure.
I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. There is such a thing. Hang on.
And I'm saying I don't doubt it.
Hang on. I'm not done yet. It really is a case of you keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means. Never before has that meme fit so well. And so when you said that the air gets thinner, in reality, that means the atmospheric pressure drops. And so if I showed you how the atmospheric pressure would not drop over 100 feet, that means the air would be no different in thinness or thickness from what it was at sea level, therefore is irrelevant to whether or not we can see the object in full or whether it is cut off at the horizon. You bringing that up is you trying to grasp at... Hang on. You bringing that up is you trying to... Hang on. You bringing that up is you grasping at straws, trying to find some way to get around the completely obvious fact that it is geometry that we're dealing with, not the atmospheric conditions. If you let the evidence speak for itself and let the evidence guide you to the conclusion, you will see that it is geometry at work here, not anything to do with the atmosphere.
Common sense has to kick in sometime, Fred. You're going to have to start using your brain, using your logic, and start relying on this pseudo-science.
How am I not using common sense based on what
I've clearly explained to you what happens at the horizon line, and you won't accept it. I've shown you that at that point of the horizon, you would be telling me, the ship is going down, and we've shown you that it doesn't go down. It's straight ahead, and you're just denying it. You're brushing over it, right? You didn't have any clear answer. You didn't have any good response for it, and now you're just going into other worlds, trying to be more technical about it, and it's all very, very simple.
Yeah, it is very simple when you know what's actually going on. You said I'm not actually giving answers, which is complete bullshit, because I already gave you the answers that actually comport with reality. The answers that comport with reality. Hang on. The answers that actually comport with reality are the hard geometric facts that we have to work with. And guess what? When we do the observation and then we see, does this comport with the assumption that the Earth is round? And we see yes, all of a sudden it's not an assumption anymore. It's a confirmed observable fact. And so for you to say I'm not offering anything is completely bullshit. What it is, sir, is you're simply not accepting what is right in front of you, something that you can verify yourself if you put pen to paper, did the calculations yourself, and then went out into the real world and did the observation out there, outside, not gluing pictures of buildings to a fucking cardboard box and looking down a hallway.
Let's take a little 5-minute break. Yeah, it's been 2 hours or so. Hard, heavy, deep conversation. It's been good. We're getting somewhere. I think.
Are you really going to go out for tea at this time? Seriously?
No, I'm just going to mute. I'm going to stay here. But I mean, Sean, you can chime in. Don't be afraid to.
I am not giving you the opportunity to participate. It's a 2 versus 1.
Thank you. This is not a 2 versus 1.
I'm going to be muted, Sean. So if you want to sit in silence, that's up to you. All right, give me 5 or 10 minutes.
I'll be happy to talk as long as it's not about anything being brought up in the debate.
That's fine. Yeah, go for it.
Sean, what's your opinion of kittens?
Kittens? They're good eating.
Good eating. Thank you. So, with that, I think I'm going to leave it up to the panel at this point. Sean, I would like you to ask the panel who won, like type 1 for Red, type 2 for Spur, however you want to phrase it. Just not saying the debate's over. Let's just get...
Okay, let me see if I can phrase this right. Going by what we've witnessed so far, I mean, we've had a steady 200 plus for the entire hangout.
340.
Oh, we actually went up 140. Damn.
Yeah.
Go ahead and put 1 in if you think Reds is winning. Put 2 in if you think Spurs is winning. And please don't spam.
Please don't spam. That's not going to make them spam it before.
There's 1, 2. Same guy just did it again. So you've got 1 person that thinks that you're winning so far, Spurs. Oh, there's 2. So he's got 3 now. 4. There's 5.
5.
That's the second guy doing it again.
God damn it, Hellsoy.
6. He's already done 1 once. Hannah, stop it. Hannah's spamming too.
Hannah's biased. Don't listen to her.
But overall, the consensus is 1.
All right, cool. All right, so
people are getting weird with the numbers now.
Yeah, 69, of course. It was only a matter of time before before that number came up. So for now,
I apologize that I've had to jump in to stop the interruptions. I was hoping that I wouldn't have to, but it did get a little flaky on both sides, at least twice that I can think of.
Yeah, good job for putting boot to my ass. I knew.
Spurs. I'm sorry, I actually had to interrupt you to tell Red to stop interrupting you. So I'm sorry for that.
Honestly, yeah, you shouldn't have to.
Good. That was a good moderator, man. Good. That was good. That was much.
That's some weird tea. That's some weird tea right there.
He's got crumpets. Leave him alone.
So anyway,
are you tired now? Are you tired now, Red? You had enough?
No.
You need to recoup and refresh and rethink and readdress these subjects in a better light. Try to understand the horizon a bit deeper.
Hold on, Spurs. You're the one that asked for the break.
I
just
didn't.
pointing that out.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, not gonna let you twist that into saying Red's tired. You're the one that asked for the break.
No, I thought you were getting off.
No,
I thought you were quit.
No, we were just saying good. So far through this debate, we asked the chat what their opinion of it was.
Okay, very good.
Oh yeah. By the way, for those saying that Spur is a troll, that may very well be the case. But keep in mind, there are people, like actual people, who will listen to Spur and think he's being legit and actually take what he's saying to heart. So even if he is a troll, I'm just going to assume the worst and hope for the best here. But I'm just going to tackle his points head on and let that be that. That way, even if he is trolling, at least he had fun, and I sure as hell had fun. It's a good sparring match.
So there's actually things I want to say, but after the one-on-one is over.
After the one-on-one, perfect.
Yeah, there's one thing that he said right at the beginning I have to address, but I'm not going to bring that up until the one-on-one's over.
Sounds good to me. And so I am going to say that it's a good sparring match for me, because I actually haven't stretched my brain as far as dealing with flat earthers in quite a bit, being that I was busy doing actual real life shit, like going to New York and stuff. And so this is actually good for me, and it's good for other people who actually take Spurs seriously. So it has its benefits. And if he's wasting my time, then guess what? I have time to waste. I don't work today. I have PTO. Woo! I'm getting paid to argue with people on the internet.
That's the best way to do it.
That is the best way to get paid. I am getting paid today, and I am arguing with people on the internet. Top that shit, motherfuckers.
It's my normal day off, so I'm not getting paid.
Yeah. See, that's the difference between you and me, Sean. I'm actually getting paid for today.
See, I can only get paid to debunk flat earthers when it's in chat or in the comment section while I'm at work. So,
And also, I would like to tell everyone in the chat: do not listen to anything Hannah Zuby says. Do not. She is biased as fuck.
Oh, and Road FM. If I'm a shill, then Walmart needs to pay me a whole lot more to deal with this shit.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't yet gotten my paycheck yet from NASA. If you can kind of tell them to expedite that shit, probably overnight it to me, that'd be great, because Dodge just came out with this new car called the Demon, the Dodge Demon. This fucking shit does wheelies off the showroom floor. And to my knowledge, the passenger seat in that car is optional. I'll get you back for this, Fred. I'm in trouble.
I just showed my name tag from Walmart. I'm not going to give you a good flash of the barcode, but that's me. I work at Walmart. I don't get paid for shit.
Yeah, and also this is a news flash. I'm apparently in deep shit with Hannah Zuby. She's gonna get back at me for this somehow, some way.
That's called the doghouse.
The doghouse. You're sleeping on the couch, bitch.
Oh no, she's gonna get you an actual doghouse.
Oh, the actual dog. Oh shit. Damn, cruel. And bro, you're giving her ideas. Don't do that.
Make sure it's like for like a Datsun.
Mm-hmm. It looks like a Charger, Red. No, it's a Challenger. It's a Challenger. The Dodge Challenger SRT Demon. Essentially, imagine a Hellcat but with another 150 horsepower and a trans brake and no passenger seat. I even believe that AC, the air conditioning, is optional in that vehicle. Oh god damn it, Sean! You gave Hannah an idea. Fuck.
Well, of course I did. I gotta help her out somehow. You know, I was dogging on her earlier, so now I gotta help her out this time.
God damn it! You're trying to get on her good side. This is bullshit.
Well, it's for the whole thing about, you know, she's dating you, so she's obviously got bad taste.
That's actually a burn on her. Damn.
That's why I said I had to give her the idea about the doghouse.
Yeah. God damn it. So essentially, you basically turn her shit relationship with you into me sleeping in an actual fucking doghouse.
Yes, but only if it's big enough to fit a Datsun.
Damn it. Red, we're going to listen to Hannah now. Oh, fuck you. Everyone's going to be pitted against me. And Fiona's going to give Hannah Zuby a lot of ideas in private. Oh, this is bullshit now.
You are screwed, dude.
I am so fucked. I am so fucked, and not in a good way. God damn it. Well, listen.
Oh, by the way, Red, check the Hangouts window.
Okay.
The actual app window, not the Hangout itself.
Actual app window?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I just looking at the good job message?
Where did I say that at?
Or are you showing this to me and it's something else?
Here.
Oh, there you are.
That's what I wanted to bring him up early on in the thing, but of course, since my moderator role wouldn't allow me to.
Yeah, good job sticking to your guns, even though it was really tempting.
Oh, you have no idea.
Sean, listen. I can't thank you enough. You've earned yourself a blowjob.
Just take your teeth out first.
Do I have to? They're so difficult to get like positioned right, and then you have to like put that gel, that glue shit. It's messy.
You know, I imagine a lot of people out there thinking, you know, I've got it completely wrong and I'm missing the point. And
gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, but this is the thing. If I was, you know, if I obviously was, well, not even if I was alone in this, I still would, if I understood it this way, I would understand it. But I mean, you know, you can see that people are understanding something new they haven't looked at before.
Quick question. Are you done with your tea break and you want to get back into it? Because if so, then that's fine. But we're boring people waiting for you to finish your tea.
Yeah, I mean, let's go. What's next? You want to talk about rockets in space? Satellites don't exist. You know, there's numerous things that we can.
Well, question. Speaking of rockets, if that's the next topic that we can go on, because whatever, people can make their own conclusions based on the conversation we had about the previous topics. I'm going to move on now and go back to rockets, which is what you just brought up. Have you actually watched any of my videos? Because I believe the assertion still stands that you would be able to watch any of my videos and prove that they are fake somehow, some way. Have you actually got around to doing that? And if so, which video?
I've never said that to you, have I? So let's just leave it at that. You know, I mean, say no more. I mean, I haven't said to you. I can whatever you've just said.
Okay, then let me ask you this.
You've heard that. I've heard, you know, you hear things. You know, it's the internet. So
I'm going to
whatever videos you've got.
I'm going to assume you're telling me the truth here. So I'm just going to ask you point blank. Do you think my rocket launch videos are real?
Well, I hadn't seen anything like it before. Rockets reversing. So, you know, it was astonishing to see rockets could do that. So on, you know, first impressions.
You mean when you say reversing, do you mean the Falcon 9 landings?
Yeah, they looked like they were going in reverse or whatever, landing. Yeah, whatever you want to put it.
Well, they are landing right side up and the ground is beneath them. So yes, they would be going backwards or going opposite to the direction of thrust. But
yeah, so what's the problem? I said I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, and of course we've never seen that, know that before, but we have seen rockets land before, way before SpaceX.
Well, I hadn't seen it land in that fashion before.
Not in that fashion, but that's because that fashion is equivalent to landing a 9-story skyscraper.
Right. So what's the problem with the videos then? You know, the videos were simply about space. Do they go into space, or are they just going into the sea? That's
well,
the
I had
problem.
one video. That proves that they are going into space, and I asked you to explain that. To this day, you said that you would get back to me on it, but you weren't able to. Because I asked you to explain a certain picture that I took, if you remember correctly, and in fact, it's posted on the last video that we had, and I can bring up that part if you want, just to kind of refresh your memory. But I'll be more than happy to show you the picture again, and I want to see, Spur, if you can actually explain it this time, because we actually have this thing called, the Atlas V, and not only the Atlas V, but the Atlas V 551. And let me bring up the picture in question, and then you can tell me if you have an answer for it. So when a rocket is going up into space at night, the only part that's going to be illuminated is the bit that's directly behind the rocket. So if gases are coming out of the rocket, the only part that will be illuminated are directly behind the rocket, because the only light source is the fire and badassery coming out of the ass end of the damn thing. However, we see this particular rocket, it's known as Houseways launch, going into the sun. And so this is why I wanted to bring up this picture. So Spur, let me show you the picture in question. I am now screen sharing. Sean, can you present me to everybody? All right, thank you. So this picture, you see the smoke trail of the Atlas V 551, and it was carrying a satellite. Which satellite? Irrelevant. But you can see that the gas cloud left behind is in shadow, and then over here, it's being illuminated by the sun. So Spur, my question to you is, given that I have observed this, and given that this is a picture that I took myself, thus indicating that it is in fact real, can you please explain how this phenomenon occurs on a flat Earth?
Not now. We'll have to make another time. I have to kind of get off now. I can't do this all night. But yeah, we'll. I'll have a look at your videos, and we'll address it properly, because you don't want me to assume things. Yes. So we'll do it like that.
Okay, then if you're done, then you're done. Peace out.
Oh my God.
Okay, hang on. Okay, the debate is over. This is where I'm going to clip it in the edit on YouTube. So this is the only part that's actually going to be shown. So with that, the debate is over. Everyone have a good night. And that is that.